Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Hi, honey. You're with us. Oh, good. Well, welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave and this very special product called X39 that you're going to hear about. So this evening, what we are going to do is Gregory's going to do a brief presentation, giving a little bit of history about the company, the technology, the founder, and then we bring on our special guest. And tonight we have Moreau with us, and you're going to love her if you don't know her. And then after that, it's your turn. So if you have stories to share or questions, please put them in the Q&A section. I am your co-host, Robin Blank Mascari, and I get to turn things over to my partner, Gregory. Honey, you're on mute.
Well, there we go. Well, thanks, Robin, and good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, so please hold on just a moment. And share we go. And welcome to our presentation this evening. We're going to be talking about LifeWave and X39 and the activation of stem cells, and it's very exciting. This is leading edge, cutting edge science in wellness. And so, but before we get started, I just want to share a personal realization I came to a while back, as I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. And I bet some of you can relate to that. And so we're going to talk about that, and we may unlock some doors here for you tonight. But before we do, I'd like to ask you a personal question. And if anything were possible, what is one thing you would choose to experience differently in your health, or maybe in the health of someone you love and care for? And what difference would that make for you or them? Maybe it's you, or maybe it's a loved one that has a serious health challenge. And, and we all want to live a healthy, long life and help our loved ones do the same. So I do want to make note that our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose any disease. However, they do help bring our bodies back into a more healthy, regenerative mode. And many times wonderful things then begin to happen. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome to the stem cell revolution, because as I said, we feel everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate damaged cells in all of our organs, glands, bones, muscles, everywhere throughout our body. Now, with that said, here's the problem. The older we get, the less stem cells we have, the less active they are. And by age 60, only a small percentage remain active and vital. And the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And neither of those things sound very cool to me. And so what about stem cell injections? Because they become quite popular, but you know what? They're pretty expensive too. And they can be painful, they can be risky, they can be somewhat controversial. And there's no guaranteed results. You could spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars and maybe or may not get the results you're after. Well, tonight we're going to share some really good news with you, because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with this historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, and it's non-invasive, drug-free. It's a patented form of phototherapy, and we're going to dig into that a little bit here tonight. It uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve our stem cell activity, which is a very, very cool thing. This is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt, who's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher. Dave is a genius inventor with over 100 patents and patent pendings. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. He's already conducted over 90 clinical studies proving the efficacy of LifeWave phototherapy products, and many, many more studies are always in the works, because this is a science-based company. It's a 17-year-old advanced research and development company, technology company focused on health sciences. It was started back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology that David actually created under a U.S. government contract developed for the Navy SEALs to increase their strength, stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. It turned out to be so effective. It's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. And we do have corporate headquarters, laboratories, and manufacturing diversified between California, Utah, and Ireland. And we have global distribution to over 75 countries from our 15 global distribution centers, because we just recently opened our 15th one in Thailand. And the word is getting out. LifeWave patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. And the media has noticed, and maybe you will too, because if you look carefully at some of your favorite athletes, you might see these auspicious little white patches on their body. And it's the power of the patch that is really affecting their performance. So how does this amazing, excuse me, technology work? Well, let's talk about it. It's based on a type of phototherapy called photobiomodulation, and LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they are applied or near your body, they're activated by our body heat, and they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which can stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. And this is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis of our LifeWave phototherapy patches. And it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that different frequencies of light can cause specific changes within our bodies. And for example, when we go out in the sun, a very specific frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D, which is very cool. We don't get a download of vitamin D from the sun, but we get a frequency stimulation that causes our body to manufacture vitamin D. And likewise, another frequency of light, UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock solid, well-recognized scientific principle. Now, our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And 3 years ago, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch, which is truly a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation, because some are actually calling us the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we're doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not yet been able to do. And because X39 actually activates a specific copper peptide that activates our own body's stem cells. So we're not injecting stem cells, we're activating our own body's stem cells. At the same time, it also alters gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So it truly is a game changer. X39 is a true breakthrough, and David Schmidt, our founder and CEO, says this is my greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on yet, because David spends more time in the laboratory than in the office. So yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very, very exciting news. So Robin, that's my quick summary. I'm going to stop my share and turn it back over to you and our special presenter, our special guest here tonight.
And a wonderful summary it is. You know, I just continue every time I hear it. It's like, it's amazing that this little teeny thing can do so much and look like nothing, hardly a little Band-Aid the size of a quarter. But every day we get to hear life-changing stories, and it's truly a gift to represent LifeWave and share this technology with the world, because we are sharing with the world. Like Gregory said, we're in over 75 countries. So this evening, I want to bring on our special guest, and this woman is a gift to our community in so many ways. And she comes to us as a nurse and nutritionist, and she's been a nurse for over 45 years. That blows me away, because when you see her, you won't believe it. And she's so committed to really educate and inspire people to live a healthy lifestyle, teach them about food, understand nutrition, help them heal. And she's the owner of Proactive Health with Anne. And I think I mentioned she's a nutritionist also. And she works with people individually or groups. And I know she has people that come over to her house for healthy meals, and then they get educated. She sneaks it in there, don't you? With good food. So welcome, Ann Morrow. Good evening.
Hi
Great,
there. Thanks for
great
having me on tonight.
No, it's a treat always to have you on and share you with our audience. We have some people that are brand new to LifeWave. This is their first introduction, and so they're just learning, and Gregory did a great intro, but we always like to find out, as a practitioner, what is it that interested you to, take a closer look at what LifeWave is and what this technology is?
Well, I think it was the innovation that I was actually looking for something that would enhance the clients that I was working with. I wanted to see what I could find out there that would help them improve their health even more. And I'm all about regeneration of cells. And this technology is exactly what it does. And the whole age reversal piece was really attractive to me. And that knowing that David Schmidt, the inventor scientist, had 10 more years of research and more things that he's creating was beyond exciting to me. And I just I've loved meeting him. I've loved hearing what he's doing. It's an amazing company. He's an amazing man as well.
Yeah, he's a man with a big vision for this planet. And like Gregory said, he actually has over 130 patents and patent pendings. Things keep changing because he's spending time in the lab. And we are privileged to kind of sneak behind the curtain sometimes and hear what he's got going for the future, truly, of this planet. So let's talk stem cells for a little bit, Anne, okay?
Sure.
All right, because a lot of people have heard of stem cells, but they don't really understand them. From your perspective, why are they so important as we start to add on some of those years?
Well, first, understanding what stem cells are is important. So some people don't know. Like I'll ask people when I have dinners here, what are stem cells? And they say, well, I've heard of them, but I don't really know what they are. But you know what? So I remind people that when you were an embryo and growing, as a into a fetus, that's what you started off with. You were stem cells, and those stem cells they differentiate and they become different organs in the body. So when you're young, you have a lot of stem cells. In your 20s, you've got tons of stem cells. And then you hit 25 and that decline begins. And then by the time you're 50, you really have lost a lot of your stem cells. And by the time you're 60, you're not producing hardly any. And at 70, which is close to my age, then you are not producing any stem cells. And so, you need to have those stem cells because they're very important for repair, for regeneration, for all of those chemical processes that occur in the body. That's the job of the stem cell.
That is beautiful. So we have this whole new paradigm of what's possible, don't we?
We do, and it's exciting.
Eh,
Really exciting.
The timing couldn't be better for us, could it? Us baby boomers.
Sure, absolutely.
Came in the nick of time. So let's talk a little bit about this special product called X39. It is the star of the show. The company does have several other products. Gregory mentioned the first one, the energy enhancer that's used by athletes. And now we have a new one too, but we're going to stay focused on X39 because it is the star of the show. It is the most comprehensive of all the patches. Who is this for? Who isn't it for?
It's for just about everybody. When we talk about children, what David Schmidt recommends is that you can begin patching children who are vocal and verbal and can talk to you. So, and I've done it with my 2-year-old. So you can do it from 2 all the way to over 100 if you want. So it's for everybody. And who's it not for? For those people who, for example, are on chemotherapy drugs, because you do not want to regenerate. What you're doing is with chemo is you're destroying all cells. So you're not wanting to regenerate new cells. So it goes against what the medical provider is doing for you. When it comes to another one is transplants, so organ transplants. So anyone that has had an organ transplant, they're on anti-rejection medications. You don't want to be using a stem cell product for them. But for everybody else, there is no reason why they can't use the product. And I've used them with all ages over my 2 years of being involved with LifeWave.
It's so wonderful to have something so safe, natural, affordable, but more importantly, it works. And
Well, and
and
that's the exciting part, Robin, because, as a nurse, and having done nutrition and supplementation for 20 years, to be able to use a product that does not interfere with medication. My mom is 90, going to be 92 this weekend. And we don't have to worry about, she's taking a lot of meds for blood pressure and other things. I don't worry about that because it doesn't interfere with that. It never enters the body. You're not taking it in and then swallowing it. It's not messing with her medications. All it does is improve her health. And I've seen remarkable things happen with my mom. Her memory is better. Her back had been bothering her. It's helped with her back discomfort. It does a whole lot of different things. Even her skin looks better. Just energy is better. She's exercising twice a week. I mean, just think about that. It's so much fun to watch your family improve over time. And X39 does so many things to improve overall health.
I don't think there's anything better than being able to affect the quality of life of a loved one.
For
and
sure.
and witnessing your mother enjoy those years, whatever she has left, and enjoy them even more in greater comfort and ease, and so beautiful. So for people to utilize this product and get the best benefits from it, what do you recommend? What are the kind of guidelines to get the most effective benefits?
Well, I think that first is drinking lots of water. Because when you use the patch, the water hydration is going to really help enhance the patch's performance. So that's going to be very, very important. Use it 12 hours on, 12 hours off, because you want to be able to give your brain signal that you want to cut off that brain signal, because if it's constantly being signaled, it will affect whether it recognizes that signal again or not. So taking it off for 12 hours is very important. Sometimes people forget and they leave it on longer. And I tell people, don't worry about it. If you go 24 hours, just skip that day. And the next day, you can go ahead and resume putting that patch on for 12 hours and then putting it, taking it off for another 12 hours. So, and most people will, they'll apply it either behind their neck on C7. I've got my patch on right now. So it's just a little patch, or you can put it 2 fingers below your belly button. Those are the major places that we're using X39 as well.
So simply stated, keep well hydrated,
Correct.
12 hours on, 12 hours off. And there's one more piece, I think. Consistency.
Absolutely, because if you're not using the patches, they don't work, right? And I think the other thing that people need to realize is that for some people, everybody's different. So we don't know how you're going to react to the patches. Some people notice it like right away. Within 24 hours, they're like saying, wow, I've got better energy. I slept better. So there's this immediate type of reaction. Other people will say, I haven't really noticed anything. And maybe in 2 weeks, they're saying, wow, I'm really starting to see a benefit. If they had maybe a knee that was bothering that doesn't bother them anymore. Right, Robin? That was one of yours. Or maybe they've had low back pain. One of my friends has had low back pain for a long time. She wakes up in the morning and she feels a deep aching. And after 2 months, for her, 2 months of being on X39 consistently and drinking her water consistently, she said, I don't wake up with that back discomfort anymore. That back pain is gone. So it took her a little bit longer. It was probably there for a lot longer than someone else. And we just need to give the body time to regenerate and create those new stem cells. What happens with the patch is that you're activating a peptide called GHK-Cu, a very important peptide that activates like over 4,000 genes. That is simply amazing. It helps with reducing inflammation. It helps with energy production. It helps with all kinds of production of other peptides as well, protein synthesis, regeneration of tissues. It does so many things. That patch is where you want to begin for most people. That's kind of what I say. If you're gonna do anything, start with X39 because it covers so many things in the human body.
That's so beautiful. And I did write in the chat, because we do recommend everyone research the copper peptide. It's not a stem cell patch, it's a copper peptide patch.
Yeah,
Activating stem cells is just one part of it.
look.
There you go. There you go. And this is the man who discovered this copper peptide that's known as the holy grail of health, healing, and regeneration. So Anne, would you share a little bit about the value of working with the health tracker to figure out what's going on?
Yeah, that's really important. If you haven't gotten the health tracker from whoever sent you to this Zoom tonight, make sure you ask for it. The health tracker is going to allow you to look at where are you today with energy, sleep, whatever it is. There's a whole list of things on the health tracker. And if you check off where you are today in 24 hours, go back and check off where you are in 24 hours. Have you noticed a change at all? And then go back in, a week or a month, and in 60 days and in 90 days, and really keep track of the particular changes you're noticing. I mean, I think it's really important, especially, I notice this with men in particular, that men are not so aware of their bodies and they don't notice the changes. In fact, women who are their wives will say, I've noticed this about them or that about them. So it's even more important for men to keep track so that they can really notice some of those changes. One of my friends was telling me that one of the guys that she patched he had come back to see her 2 or 3 months later. And he said, I'm still not doing as well as I would like. And she said, really? Well, how's your shoulder? Oh, he said, that's gone. Well, how's your knee? Well, that's gone. Well, how are your eyes? I heard that, you went for your eye test and it was better. Well, yeah, that's improved. She said, well, what's the issue? And he said, well, my feet aren't quite there yet. So she said, it's only been 2 or 3 months. Give it some time. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes it takes a year. But you will always replace and regenerate new stem cells. And as that is happening, you will begin to see all of those great changes. So it's
thank you for saying that, because sometimes the changes are subtle and they just get better and better over time. And like you talked about, the health tracker is so important because it helps us pay attention to things we might not pay attention to that might be different. And I had the same experience with someone the other night. I was in Mexico and this woman said, I've been wearing the patch for a few months and I don't really notice anything. And I did the same thing with her. I said, well, how's your eyesight? And she goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just asked that. She goes, I always have my glasses right there because I cannot be without them. And the other day I couldn't find them. And she goes, I guess my eyes are better. And that happens to people all the time. And then, someone on one of the calls said, well, my crooked finger straightened out. And I went, okay, there's my crooked finger stuck here for literally 20 years from an accident. And I went, oh, isn't that fun? So take pictures of your face, take pictures of your scars, because you're in for a treat. Any other final comments, Anne, before we open up for some questions and stories?
Just a reminder to everybody that even though you're patching, it's still important to take care of your body. And that means exercising, getting good sleep, making sure that you're getting the 7-8 hours of sleep. That's when you repair during the sleep period. Eating right, and not eating junk. I mean, the 80-20 rule is a good rule to follow. 80% of the time eating really healthy, maybe 20% of the time allowing yourself to have some of those cheats. And so overall health, it means everything. You've got to be taking care of your body generally, and the patches will work even better and you'll get even better results. It's simply amazing. I mean, I did not have the immediate, results that a lot of people have, but over, over the period of 6 months to a year, I started really noticing the change in my skin, because it really, the copper peptide really helps with that collagen production. And I started to notice, that lesser fine lines, better skin, brown spots disappearing. I had something here that was growing, a little mole, and it fell off. And I was like, whoa, I've never seen that happen before. So simply amazing how it changes the skin. And I find that my recovery period when I exercise is much quicker. I recover quicker. I'm not as sore. I hadn't exercised when I went on vacation for quite a few days and came back and went back to doing my TRX. And I was not sore at all the next day, which is simply amazing.
Especially at our age,
Yeah, exactly.
Because usually that recovery is harder than the exercise for some people. Well, that's so wonderful. And David Schmidt always says what you said, we've got to do our part. The patches are extraordinary, and they work much better when we take care of our bodies and do all those things you talked about. So are you ready for some stories and questions?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so please put your questions and stories in the Q&A section. That just makes it easier because there's so much going on in the chat. But I did see that Heidi said, I have a story about my X39 usage from February 22nd to March 24th with a before picture of my 52-year-old aged eye. Wrinkles have diminished from my housemate seeing an after picture of me from December after usage to increase my collagen. So
Excellent.
collagen, would you just kind of quickly share, we think about collagen for our skin, but it's all through our body, isn't it?
It's kind of the glue that keeps the body together. I mean, that's the collagen is everywhere. It lines almost every organ in our body. It supports our bone. It's in skin. It's everywhere. And so, be able to change that collagen to support it as we're aging. That is simply amazing. It really is. It's amazing. Think about your muscle strength, all of those kinds of things, all impacted by collagen. Yeah.
Great. And those aches and pains sometimes are caused with lack of collagen. Mine just went away. It's like I had intense ones and they're gone. Okay, let's jump in. Angela, what patches would you recommend to someone who seems to have an allergy to cold? When it gets cold, breaks out in red spots all over the body after exposure to cold water, weather, or perhaps even going for a workout inside into a cool down after.
Yeah, that I would always X39, always want to start. And X39 is wonderful when it comes for any kind of skin issue. And there's a gentleman that the other day we patched, he had, kind of like a rash all over the body, and he was very skin sensitive. And that's what I said to him, use the X39. It was simply amazing. He noticed that night, he put it on, and he noticed right away that all of those symptoms disappeared. So I absolutely would go with X39. And when I hear that condition, because it sounds like an autoimmune condition, I always think of the immune system, and X39 is going to support the immune system. So that particular patch is going to be very, very beneficial. And that is the place to start. And if, for example, that she doesn't see the benefits, I would suspect she will, though. I'll be shocked if she doesn't. Then I would obviously look at the Eon patch because of some kind of inflammatory response, because the Eon patch has a lot of benefit when it comes to greater inflammation. But always start with X39. Give it a good 30 to 60 days. See how she responds to that, she or he, and see what happens.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So Meredith has someone, she's helping someone that has some acute lower back pain around T3 to T5, sore throat and cough, trying to get a look in. I don't know if it's viral or bacteria. What would you recommend?
Well, again, X39. And when I think of throat, lungs, X39, if you were to look up, if you go to PubMed and look up GHK-Cu peptide, which is what X39 activates, and then activates our stem cells, you're going to find, if you put respiratory in there, in a search engine, you're going to find the benefits of GHK-Cu to the lung health. And when you talk respiratory, that's all included. And you're also talking skin, mucous membranes, all of those are going to benefit from X39 because GHK-Cu, that's what it does. It repairs the wounds and the tissue and all of that stuff, reduces inflammation. She's dealing with some inflammation. And I've had people who have had issues with the virus that's gone around. And what I've done with them in particular, I had a nurse friend who got pretty sick, and we used the X39, one on each lung point on her during the day. And at night, when she would go to bed, we would put E one on each lung point. And within 24 hours, she was feeling better. She couldn't believe it. She hadn't driven her car in 2 weeks. So she was able to drive within 24 hours and call me back. She texted me and she goes, I drove for the first time in 2 weeks. I can't believe in 24 hours I'm feeling better. So quite amazing. So yes, that's what I would do, definitely.
Right.
And for the back, usually if you're using X39, it's going to help with that. If it's all part of the virus, it will also help with that. But if not, you certainly can try patching. You can put the X39 right on those areas in the lower back, or there's always Ice Wave with Eon that you can use on the back as well. I had a backache about 6 weeks ago. I injured my back and I used the X39 and Ice Wave and Eon, got some relief, but not total. And I decided that I would try putting them under my feet. I put them under my feet, under the pad of the foot. It's called Kidney One. I put another set of Ice Waves there. You can always use energy enhancers there as well. And it totally went away. I think I went from an 8 to a 4, then a 0. So the patches are amazing. But again, start with X39 first.
I hope everyone's getting the message here. X39 is the foundation, and it's so comprehensive that it's the place we start. Okay, Gary, have you seen X39 cause cracking or splitting of the lips? One of my PCs using X39 for 3 months saw great benefits, but then her lips started getting dry and cracking. And so she stopped X39 and they healed. Then started X39 and the dry lips. She's drinking a lot of water.
Okay.
She drinks 40 ounces per day due to urination urgency from bladder surgery. And she weighs 140. She's not decreased her water intake since she started X39. Help, she wants to stop using X39.
Well, I guess what I would do if she was my client, I would absolutely be encouraging her to drink more water because she's obviously dehydrated. I mean, when you get the cracked lips, that's pretty much telling that, she's very dehydrated. So I might encourage her to not use it a full 12 hours. Maybe she wants to, use it for less amount of time. Maybe she wants to go to 4 to 6 hours, and work on that water intake for sure. She needs to have, I don't know her weight, but we say half the body weight in ounces. So I know for me, I'm about 105 pounds. So I try to drink between 50 to 60, a day, 60 ounces a day. So she may need a little bit more. And obviously I think that she's pretty dehydrated to be having her lips cracked. So that's what I would strongly recommend. Much more hydration. She might need minerals. She might want to get some mineral water, or I like to use Light Show, Lyte. You can buy that on Amazon and you just put a few drops and it has a lot of different minerals. Or she can get a mineral supplement. She can look for a mineral supplement online and use the minerals. It's obvious that she's dehydrated and she may need to supplement with some minerals to get some of that absorption to occur.
Wow. Okay, great. Because a lot of times people don't realize they may be drinking but not absorbing.
Correct.
And that could be a problem.
Minerals are a problem with a lot of people today because we don't get the nutrition that we used to get in our food. It's depleted. We're not eating the greens that we're supposed to get. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium, calcium, magnesium, zinc, some of those important minerals. So very important to look at minerals, the salts, we call them salts, mineral salts, because Magnesium is a salt, sodium chloride is a salt. All of those things are an important part of causing or creating dehydration, which is what it sounds like to me is happening.
Yeah. Great. So let's see. I do want to say I really prefer if you put your questions and stories in the Q&A, but I just sneaked over and this popped out from Meredith on Sunday. I popped an X39 on a woman in her 70s, and she texted me a couple hours later to say her vision was changed. She noted it got into the car after being out and gathering. She went and she had doubted that at first, and she went home and opened the refrigerator and she could read the contents on what was in the refrigerator, which she was unable to do. So they were
Yay.
both there. I know it's fun. So just be aware. And that's the beauty of the health tracker. It gives you some things to pay attention to. We love hearing the stories. And if you want to hear a lot of stories, come join us on Monday morning at Live Younger Chat at 8 a.m. Pacific for 30 minutes. You'll hear stories, the whole half hour stories.
That miracle
Okay.
call.
Yes, we call it the Monday Morning Miracle.
Yeah.
Everyone's invited. Let's see, chronic pain in the ankle. A customer had a terrible accident, and the details are pretty gory. She's had 6 surgeries in the ankle, 4 surgeries to implant a spinal cord stimulator in the dorsal root ganglion pain receptors that go right to the ankle. Please advise on patches and placement. She's using X49. I think it's supposed to be X39, X49, and Ice Wave, and it still needs pain relief.
Yeah, my husband had similar procedure done. He's had multiple surgeries in an ankle from a gunshot wound. And as a young man, and even like three to 5 years ago, he went back for multiple surgeries. So you need to think about what happens when you cut through a foot like that and an ankle. You're severing nerves, right? So it's really important to give your body time for healing, because something like that is going to take a lot of time, and regenerating nerves and all of that stuff is going to take time. And what we've done with my husband that's worked for him is we do use the X39 up on C7, and we've put Ice Wave on the ankle, but we've also used the energy enhancer. And so, in fact, Dr. Walter Young talks about the energy enhancer and the benefits of doing that, because you're moving energy first within that foot. And so what I will often do is put the energy enhancer patch, the tan one, on right underneath his foot. And I put another one, the white patch, on top between the great toe and the second toe. And I put an Eon on top of that as well. And then I put on each side of his ankle the Ice Wave. And I've been able to get relief for him doing that. So give that a try. You're also impacting energy flow to the spine. So hopefully what happens is you're giving the brain the signal to move energy into that foot and allow this to start healing. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, because the patches can't hurt you. And, trust your instincts. You can try different things. What Ann just shared is definitely unique that a lot of people aren't used to. Patch on top of the foot, patch on the bottom, put an Eon on top of that one and one on each side. Play with them and watch and just see what happens, and make sure people are well hydrated. Ann, are you up for 1 or 2 more?
Sure, sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Casey, I have a customer whose sister's suffering a lot with severe inflammatory conditions, as well as heart issues and debilitating eye issues. Aside from X39 and Ice Wave, what would you suggest?
So again, yes, and I would definitely start with X39, and I give her 30 days with that before introducing others, because oftentimes when people are that inflamed, and they could be toxic. And remember that with X39, you're raising glutathione levels. And for those people who don't know what glutathione is your master antioxidant, and it also has a detoxification. So sometimes as glutathione levels go up, you detoxify, you can sometimes get headaches, sometimes not feel well. And somebody who's that fragile may need a little bit of time. And I like to go a little slower with them and then introduce other patches. I start with the X39 and then I bring in some of the other patches. But if she's saying that pain is one of her worst things and she wants to get rid of pain, then I do bring in the ice wave for those particular individuals right away. And for somebody with that level of inflammation systemically, I would use the under the foot place, which is again under the pad of the foot, in the center, kidney 1, and you put the tan on the left and the white on the right. And I have sometimes put the Eon on top of the tan, but lately I've been using the one between the great toe and the second toe on top on the left foot, and I'm getting better results doing that with the X39 on C7. So I would give that a try with her to see if that's the whole general body pain protocol. And you're going to create that triangle that I often talk about where you move energy flow from the brain, all over the body.
Beautiful. Because isn't a lot of pain stuck energy?
It's stuck energy for sure. And you
And
want to
so we
move
can,
that energy so that your oxygen, your nutrients can get to that area to heal and repair the area.
beautiful. All right, let's finish up with Carmen. Can you use X39 after radiation and currently taking hormone estrogen blockers?
Absolutely can. Well, you can use those as long as they're not chemo drugs. Remember, chemo drugs will stop you from producing good, healthy cells. So as long as they're not on chemo, they can, and the radiation has stopped, they can certainly use that X39.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, all kinds of good stuff tonight, and there's so much more. And thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh. And for those of you that are new this evening, please get back to the person that invited you and get started. The product does come with a guarantee. We have a wonderful customer program. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share, we have a beautiful distributor program that will compensate you for sharing. So, Anne, a delight to have you and learn from your wisdom always. And thank you everyone for being with us this evening, and we'll see you again next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Carol.